Blessings and peace, beloved. Thank you for joining us once again for our Great Controversy Devotional series, where we are using the book Christ Triumphant that deals with the issues that are contained in this great struggle between Christ and Satan. The devotional thought for today, April 16th, is entitled, Cleanliness should mark the life of a Christian. And why should cleanliness mark the life of a Christian? Because cleanliness is one of the first laws of health, one of the chief laws of health. And so Sister White did not need to mention, but although she did, cleanliness is an established law of health. Full stop. And the scripture text is taken from Exodus chapter 19 and verse 10. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. So God was big on washing. God was big on cleanliness. Incorrect personal habits are among the most prolific causes of disease. People live too nasty. People live too dirty. People live too confused. People live too disorderly. This is whole time last year what it was, coronavirus. Wash your hands, because people did not wash their hands properly. So here at the end of the world, people still don't know how to wash their hands. Incorrect personal habits are among the most prolific causes of disease. Order and cleanliness are laws of heaven. Ooh! And so this is why I keep telling people, when we read that quotation about these are the true remedies and only 8 laws of health are listed, that was not the complete list that was given by God. But when you reference true remedies in a pen of inspiration, you add, when you write the same reference, true remedies, you add cleanliness and herbs to that list, because Sister White herself says cleanliness and herbs are the true remedies. These are the laws of health. All right. So hold up. Order and cleanliness are laws of heaven. So these are not addendums to the laws of health. These are the laws of health. Cleanliness. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. So we add, but often we get into the habit of not practicing what we preach, or not allowing what we preach to go as deep as it should be, and apply the proper rules of study to the situation to know and understand that there are 10 laws of health, because she never said that there were 8. Order and cleanliness are laws of heaven. So will there be garbage in heaven? Will be untidy in heaven? Will be unclean in heaven? No. Order and cleanliness are laws of heaven. The directions given to Moses when the Lord was about to declare his law upon Mount Sinai were very strict in this respect. They were directed to do this, lest there should be impurity about them as they should come before God. He is a God of order, and he requires order and cleanliness in his people. On no occasion were the children of Israel to allow impurities to remain upon their clothing or their persons. And so this is, again, the argument, the case for cleanliness as a law of health is established from heaven, is established from scripture. It's a law of health. So again, the ministry of Queen and Court, these are the true remedies. New start. New start is missing cleanliness. God's plan is missing cleanliness. All of the acronyms that we use, they are missing cleanliness. So give attention to cleanliness. It must be, you must magnify the law and make it honorable. Cleanliness. They were directed to do this, lest there should be impurity about them as they should come before God. He is a God of order, and he requires order and cleanliness in his people. On no occasion were the children of Israel to allow impurities to remain upon their clothing or their persons. They bathed a lot. They bathed their skin. Those who had any uncleanness were to be shut out of the camp until the evening, and then were required to cleanse themselves and their clothing before they could return. They were also commanded to carry all their refuse to a distance from the camp. Even the soldiers, when we read in the book of Deuteronomy, they went to war with a paddle on their belt that if they needed to relieve themselves, they dug a hole, put it in, and cover it over. And scripture said that when the Lord walked through the camp, that there would be no uncleanness in the camp. So they just did not do their thing anyway, which way. So they were clean. The Lord requires no less of his people now than he did anciently. If cleanliness was so necessary to those journeyings in the wilderness, who were in the open air nearly all the time, it is no less necessary to us who live in closed houses, where impurities are more observable and have a more unhealthful influence. And this is why a lot of churches were closed down, because we have gotten into the practice and the habit of, in first world countries, not having a clean supply of air. We are allowing machines to do for us what God's free-flowing air should do. So by virtue of how we build our buildings in an unsustainable fashion, by virtue of only operating churches and not ministries, where our value is esteemed, because they shut down churches, they left schools open, they shut down churches, they left places of business open. You shut down the churches because the church is just a church, so society does not value the church because the church does not have anything to contribute to society, because church is just only dealing with one aspect of the being and not the total package, when we have been given a complete system of truth. We need to have less churches and more ministries, where church is attached to a ministry that people can see, that people can experience. As the disciples said, that they saw, they heard, they handled the word of life. So people must be able to come into contact with the word of life. So we must build our churches. And this is a suggestion that a friend gave me, and it was profound. And it was not that because he gave it to me that I understood it. It's because something that I always believed. Build your church. Put a bakery next to it. Even if you're baking bread, not for sale, but to give people, the poor, your church remains open. Because the bakery, I'm going to the bakery. We're helping the community. So as we help the community, let's have prayer before we help the community, and just break the bread of life before we help the community, before we give them the physical bread. And we help the community. We must change with the times. In the book Great Controversy, I believe it is, it says the devil is transformed after the modern order of things. So Satan is being transformed after the modern order of things, and we are there in some ancient thinking. And not even ancient, archaic, old and outdated. We have to change, beloved. We need to have more ministries, and not just a church. No, man. I don't even want to say that that's Catholic. Because the Catholic beats us out on ministries. Orphanages here, orphanages there. Giving a contribution. Beloved, this Zoom thing and this live videos, these are not enough to spread the gospel. You need a living witness. In doing missionary work, you need a living witness. You need a living preacher. Reference that one in the Pen of Inspiration. You need a living preacher, beloved. So don't settle on your leaves to spread the gospel. If all we see that we're thanking God for the fact that the gospel has been able to be spread by Zoom, we have missed the mark, hamartia. You know, sin is missing the mark. No, beloved. Look at who were deemed as essential. Oh. So if we have lifestyle centers and sanitariums, we are deemed as essential. If we have bakeries attached, we are deemed as essential. If we have our own school system, we are deemed as essential. You see, beloved? Oh, we thank God for Zoom. Zoom must spread the gospel. No! Living preachers is necessary. So if you're just seeing Zoom, your eyes are still closed. We must do things that are essential. And when we do things that are essential, we are now valued as God's people. The Lord requires no less of his people now than he did anciently. So the way we build our buildings, and this is how we got on this point, the way we build our buildings are key. Let more light in. Let more air in. Yes, beloved. Do it. Build buildings with courtyards. Where you can have service in the courtyard, you are protected. All right? We can have service in the building, the sanctuary, and in the courtyard too. So that you can hold more people. Yes, beloved. We need to change. This is a new order, you know. Indeed, it's a great reset. If we continue to do things the same old way, the same archaic way, and not be transformed after the modern order of things, we are signaling our demise. Because in this crisis, our religious liberty has been affected negatively. So, beloved, may God open your eyes. May God open our eyes. That we can value ministry and not just church service. Because our idol has been taken from us. It's ministry that counts. God called me to be more than a pastor. God called me to be a minister of the gospel. And the gospel has a right hand. A right hand. The gospel is the body. The gospel is not the left hand, you know. The gospel is the body, but the gospel has a right hand in the health message, beloved. This we must understand. The crisis is real. It's not a make-believe crisis. And it is stealing its march upon us. So if we continue to be the same old and do things the same old way, it will come upon us and overtake us as an overwhelming surprise, and we're going to be carried away in the flood. Because we did not make the necessary and needful preparation. If cleanliness was so necessary to those journeying in the wilderness who were in the open air nearly all the time, it is no less necessary to us who live in closed houses where impurities are more observable and have a more unhealthful influence. The moral law spoken from Sinai cannot have a place in the hearts of persons of disorderly, filthy habits. The moral law spoken from Sinai cannot have a place in the hearts of persons of disorderly, filthy. If you don't like to bathe, beloved, you have a problem with God. If you don't like to live in neatness and in order, if you don't like to keep your home, your room tidy, you have a problem with God. So how are you going to be when you're going to a completely tidy place? In heaven, you're not going to feel at home. Filth loves filth, but there's no filth in heaven. If the children of Israel could not so much as listen to the proclamation of that holy law without cleanliness of person and clothing, how can its pure precepts be written upon the hearts of those who are untidy in their persons and their homes? So if you're so highly intelligent that you don't know how to keep your place in order, no, you have a problem with God. Or highly intelligent people are always disorderly, are always untidy. Oh no, beloved, that's a lie. No. That's belittling what intelligence is. That's imbalance. That's intemperance. If the children of Israel could not so much as listen to the proclamation of that holy law without cleanliness of person and clothing, how can its pure precepts be written upon the hearts of those who are untidy in their persons and their homes? So if they couldn't listen to the law of God without taking a bath and wearing clean clothes, how can its pure precepts be written upon our hearts if we are untidy in our persons and our homes, beloved? How? We cannot serve God in untidiness. Notice now. Notice. Notice. This is apt. Violent epidemics of fever have occurred in villages and cities that were considered perfectly healthful, and these have resulted in death or broken constitutions. In many instances, the premises of the very ones who fell victims to these epidemics contained the agents of destruction which sent forth deadly poison into the atmosphere to be inhaled by the family and the neighborhood. You know how many people got coronavirus and their immune system just took care of it immediately because they were living healthy lives? But because the state of the home that people have been living in, the quality of air, whether or not sunlight reaches in all of the rooms of the home, it determines what lives in those environments, what occupies the air or the atmosphere that weakens your immunity, that whatever is blowing in society has an effect upon you. So it's not just vaccinated against coronavirus that it is now necessary. The laws of health vaccinate you against unnecessary disease and disease conditions. So we need to be vaccinated from uncleanness. I go to America and I see people work in the restaurant, going to the restaurant, use the restroom and don't wash their hands. And I'm like, I don't see this in the Caribbean at all. We love wash our hands. But now we are held ransom by their dirtiness, by their nastiness. Because their metric of health has become our metric of health. So therefore everybody must be the same. We wash our hands. We brush our teeth. We bathe quite often down here in the tropics. We have to. But as we become more westernized, Americanized, and we get above the simplicity of healthful living, we become dirtier. There's nothing like a washing the hand. And nothing like being clean. When Lord Palmerston was Premier of England, he was at one time petitioned by the Scottish clergy to appoint a day of fasting and prayer to avert the cholera. He replied, "Cleanse and disinfect your streets and houses, promote cleanliness and health among the poor, and see that they are plentifully supplied with good food and raiment, and employ right sanitary measures generally, and you will have no occasion to fast and prayer, nor will the Lord hear your prayers while these, his preventatives, remain unheeded." Fast and prayer, vaccines, y'all need to be clean. Be clean, ye that bear the vessels of the Lord. Why? Because cleanliness is one of the basic foundational laws of health. And you know what, beloved? If we are not clean, if we're not tidy, if we're not pure, if purity does not transcend only as an idea or ideal or a concept in our mind, if it does not translate into our life, we will not be overcomers. Be pure, be clean, ye that bear the vessels of the Lord. Blessings and peace.
Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and share this video. Also remember to subscribe and smash that notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming video. Also, you can support us at wordoflife.network/donate, or you can email us for any information on messengersofthecovenant@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Blessings and peace.